Hi, I'm Natalie Thompson, and if you are watching this, you have found the Red Armchair, a channel and site where I share my work, my compositions, my art, my music, and my professional journey. So, this is a video about my artwork. This is all past artwork, so some of this I've done years ago, some of this is more recent. And all of it is meant to document my journey, my growth as an artist. Couple of disclaimers. This artwork is a lot of practice artwork, which means that... Sorry, my cat is here. Stop. Stop. So, which means that I did use references for a lot of these. Unfortunately, it's from so long ago that I don't remember how many references I used for like one piece, say. And I don't remember specifically where those references came from. A lot of them were photos, stock photos from the internet that I would type in Google, like pictures of flowers, pictures of old men, to draw like faces, studies of faces, pictures of women, pictures of children laughing, or, like whatever I wanted to study at the time. I think it's important to note as well that all of these pieces are out of order. I did not feel like taking the time to put them in order because that would be a ton of work and time consuming. So yeah, welcome to the Red Armchair. And if you like what I have here, of course, subscribe, hit a like button, and I'll see you in the video. This first photo is obviously, it's not a photo, it's a drawing of flowers, and I never erased the pencil work. A lot of stuff in my sketchbooks, I've never erased the pencil stuff because in my sketchbooks at least, I see it as a way to actively view how I drew the piece and where my sort of organic lines were coming from. Again, I have never taken an art class. I don't claim to be a professional artist. I just want to put this out here on this tiny, tiny, tiny piece of the internet to kind of document my progress, document where I come from and where I'm going. So this photo here, it's not a photo. It's a painting of a tree. And I'm sure I took a reference from somewhere looking at this and painting it in watercolor. But I added a light post because I thought it was cool. I thought it looked pretty. Another mistake, this was early on in my art sort of journey. This is not on watercolor paper, which is ridiculous, but I kept it because I liked what I did with it. I liked the line work. I thought that I did a good job. So, you know what? Art is about that. It's about thinking like, hey, I'm proud of this thing. I know I didn't do it right, but who cares? It gave me joy. It gave other people who saw it some amount of joy. That I decided to use one art style for this and another art style for this. I think that as young artists, we can pull sort of ideas from different things as we come up with our own expression. This is on a piece of planner paper from high school. I know that's ridiculous, and I don't care. I, again, was proud of it. and I wanted to keep it. There's something behind here. I'm going to be careful not to set fire to my apartment. This is dots on lined notebook paper, and it's a piece of me from a very long time ago that I've kept and cherished. I drew this in chemistry. Obviously, I was not paying attention to chemistry. Well, I may have been paying attention to another kind of chemistry. This piece here is interesting because this piece I titled Straight. This was when I was going through some of my own questioning phases, and I was really excited about drawing lines, apparently. It's kind of almost a study of straight lines and how they intersect. This is July 8th, 2017. I guess I draw a lot of stuff in July. That's interesting. Maybe July is just particularly inspiring. These don't have dates. These are drawings of hands. This was my hand. This is my sister's hand. This is a watch that she wore for years and years and years. I don't know how long she wore that watch. She may still have that watch. I have no idea. But I was visiting her in Austin. Oh, this is her class ring. This was after she graduated, I think. Well, obviously it's after she graduated. She has her class ring in the photo. But I think we were sitting at a coffee shop. This is pre-COVID times, right? Sitting in a coffee shop. My God. And I was just like, hey, can I draw your hand? And she was like, sure. I'm sure the conversation was more nuanced than that. Oh, I actually remember when I did these. These are watercolor paintings from the summer I did Texas. Was, I believe, the summer of 2019. I was in Texas the Musical. It's kind of a big thing in West Texas. They didn't have it this last summer, the summer of 2020, because for obvious reasons. It was very, yeah. I won't say any more about that, but I did do these watercolor paintings during that summer. So this is supposed to be West Texas, obviously, right? It's flat, it's green, there's brown grass, and a lot of sky. Yeah. And actually, if you ever get the chance to visit West Texas, definitely visit the canyon. A lot of people don't know about it because, everybody's like, oh, the Grand Canyon. But the Palo Duro Canyon is also a beautiful place. I think I was looking at watercolor pictures, and I was like, I saw somebody do circles with watercolor in their sketchbook just to experiment, and I was like, hey, that'd be cool. I'm gonna use color to represent the stages of life. This is a whale. It's a blue whale. This is an elephant. Pretty sure I had a reference for this. Actually, I'm pretty sure I had references for both of these. These were practices in watercolor. It was very much, I want to get better at watercolor. I'm going to find a picture and try to emulate the style and the lines and the color. Oh, aha, see? Hi, I'm Natalie. I'm a bass player. Hi, Natalie. All right. This is a picture of a bass. It's not a cello. It's not a violin. It's a double bass. If you look elsewhere on my channel, I'm sure I'll upload videos about double bass and about how to play double bass. Obviously, this was a sketch, and then this was a watercolor thing that I did after I drew the sketch because I guess I just thought it looked cool. Yeah. Okay. This is a picture that I drew in one of my sketchbooks. I don't remember when I even drew this. It doesn't have a date because I'm a genius. This is a picture of a fantasy place that I imagine in my head. It's a underground city with streams of water running through it, and this is sort of just an idea piece of what that place would look like. This is a picture of a woman. I believe it is actually how I imagined one of my characters from the same story. That's why they're together. Her name is Ava, and I'm sure I pulled ideas from references for this. This is early on in my artwork and my practices of drawing and kind of ongoing. Again, there's still pencil marks here. You can still see where I've got pencil marks that I didn't erase. Yeah, and the face isn't even detailed. It's literally just like a line drawing, so there's not really much to say about it. But her name is Ava, and that's a picture of her. Ha! Oh my goodness. All right, so story time. I took a trip pre-COVID. Actually, I think like 2 years before COVID. I should probably drink my tea before it gets cold. Oh wow, that's sweeter than I meant for it to be. We went to Newport. I drew a street lamp and some cobblestones. Again, pencil markings, still visible. Not a finished piece, not a piece that I would like sell or whatever. So after Newport, we went to Northern Ireland, and oh my gosh, I hope this person never like watches this video. This is a person that I met in a pub in Northern Ireland. It was an older man, and he was very interested in speaking to me. His name was Desmond. He saw me drawing, right, and he came up and I can't even emulate like Irish accent, so I'm not even gonna try. This one I will take out. Man, I didn't save the... Oh well. Well, he said a lot of cuss words, so I will try not to repeat them. But he said, he came up to me and he was like, "Can you give me a portrait of myself?" And he was drunk, right? Like very classic Irishman drunk. And he came up to me and he said, "Right, young lass, do you have a lad at home?" Something like that. And I said something like, yeah, because I was in a relationship at the time. I still am. And he was like, "What can that fellow offer you that I can't?" And he was kind of like drunkenly kind of trying to convince me that I should say yes to a proposal of like formal like marriage. And he wasn't being rude. I wasn't like alone in this situation. I was with my family members, actually. He was just coming over and being nice and talking to us. But he was definitely very... and he like let it go, you know, after a little bit. I drew his portrait and I showed him and he was like, wow. His name was Desmond. I don't know what that says there, but this was in summer of 2018. And this is kind of how I prefer to draw. Again, these are obviously pencil markings. It's not like a finished piece. Again, it's from my sketchbook. I cut it out and put it here to preserve it. But I do like this sort of cross-hatching. I like the lines that I use to put into the face. I clearly remember what this man looks like from this portrait. And it was hilarious. He was a charismatic sort of fellow. These, we're gonna rewind. Alistair, get off my... 1 second. I did these in a car, in my parents' car, while we were riding to a place, probably Best Buy or Home Depot or something, some kind of Costco. I don't know. I drew these, or I didn't draw them. They're not really drawings, but I would consider them to be artwork. These are all love songs, just like literally straight up the lyrics of love songs. And I put it together, and yeah, I guess I was just in a romantic phase. Some of these quotes are original. I won't read them out loud. It's embarrassing. I don't want to, okay? This one is all lyrics from, I think, 5 songs from Les Miserables, the musical. And I just thought it looked cool. This first one is like, do you hear the people singing the song of angry men? This is the music of the people who will not be slaves again. You know, da 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 da. The rest of the musical, wonderful musical. Go watch it, or no, don't watch the movie. Don't watch the movie. I rescind that statement. Don't watch the movie. Watch a video of the stage production, like the original Broadway cast or whatever. Ah, more hands. Whose hands are these? These are not mine. Those are a man's hands. This is my hand, actually. Literally my hand, right here. Although I must have been a little bit bonier at the time. I think my hands are fat right now. Oh well. These are my hands. I don't remember when I drew this, but it was the same time that I drew those other hands of my sister, and I guess I was drawing my hands too. These are the hands of my significant other. He is, these are his hands. I drew them. I think we were in a library at the time. This is a watch that is broken now that he misses dearly. Sorry, my cat's trying to eat the Christmas tree. Get down. Come here. Stop. No. Stop eating the Christmas tree. None of my animals are being mistreated in any way, by the way. They are perfectly safe. My cat just likes to eat Christmas trees. There is some very deep meaning in these. I would highly recommend to read about it. It's very interesting. And nowadays you'll see it kind of appropriated in a lot of sort of popular coloring books, like adult coloring books, and tons of people color them without knowing the real meaning behind them. Maybe I'll do a video where I draw one myself and talk about the history and culture and meaning of mandalas. I think that would be kind of fun. I wrote "There's Time for More" here because I guess I was overwhelmed with a lot of my studies in college, and I went to a coffee shop one day and just felt like all of my energy and time was being spent on my studies. And I drew this and sort of thought about how I was feeling at the time and wrote "There's time for more." After you finish your work in college, after you finish your degree, there's time for more. There's time for artwork. There's time for composing music. There's time for writing stories. Your college studies are not your entire identity, although it may seem like it for 4 years. But I was feeling very overwhelmed because I didn't have this outlet of art that I could use. Here's another mandala here, but this is also a watercolor sort of galaxy thing. I think this was hanging in my dorm room, actually. I think I did this before I left for college, and I wanted to hang it in my dorm room, and I did for 2 years. These are studies of faces. I'm pretty sure I found like photography pictures of people's faces, and I have a Pinterest board, right, of just photos of people's faces that sometimes from time to time I'll look at, and I draw these just outright. I don't erase lines, I just draw them. I just put them on the paper. It is what it is. Like, this one didn't come out very well. It looks like she has a mustache. But you know what? Some people, no body shaming. Some people do have mustaches. Some women do have mustaches. And, you know, that's a conversation to have. She is beautiful the way she is, okay? She's in here because she's important, okay? I don't think that the photo was a picture of a woman with a mustache, but, you know, now she has a mustache in my collected drawings. I love this one. I loved the expression on his face. I think you could probably look up like stock photo of an old man smiling and laughing, and that would come up. But I do like the way I drew it. I like that the lines on his face were thick, while the lines sort of detailing his scraggly hair are very thin. Yeah, and there's lots of stuff that I like about this one here, too, as well. This is a photo I'm sure I had a reference for at some point. I was trying to work on my ability to draw abstract work. And as you can see, like, I went through a period of abstract stuff. But this one particularly, I was trying to focus on like, okay, well, how do you draw the shadows and only the shadows and leave the places of light so that you can still see sort of the remnants of a face, you know, the lips, the nose, the eyes, the forehead and chin. And then I just drew shapes around it because I thought it looked cool. This here is absolutely one of the favorite pieces I've ever done. This is a abstract piece that I did when I was I was in a very low place. I was feeling sad. My degree is in music therapy. I'm studying to become a therapist. And this is a time when I had these practicums, and I was very sad about a very specific thing. And I had to have a way to let out these sort of emotions that I was feeling. I was feeling grief and loss. I felt like this dot represented me. I felt completely alone. And I knew that there were other people that I could talk to, but they were over here. They were far away. There was this space in between. And I also felt void of emotion at this point. So the color represents my emotions that I was suppressing. And the thing about emotions is that you can suppress them as much as you want, but at some point they do surface. They do come to fruition. And that's what this piece is about. Aha! Yay! Okay. This is a picture drawn from a photo of a woman in the 1920s. No idea who it is. This does not look like Lady Gaga. However, it was meant to be sort of a photo that had certain aspects of her face, her eyes, and basically I play D&D. And I had a character at one point who was a illusion wizard, and I wanted to draw her, and I imagined her face as this like beautiful regal face that had some aspects of Lady Gaga, and so I drew her. This is not a D&D drawing. In fact, I think this was drawn in 2015. I can barely see this number here. This was a drawing that I did for one of my friends. She was writing a story, and in the story, from what I remember, there was like some sort of party or a ball, and her main character had to go to the party or ball or whatever. And at the time, I was like, I'm gonna be a fashion designer, guys. This is it. This is my calling. I'm gonna be a fashion designer. And I am not a fashion designer, obviously. I'm a bass player and an artist. But a different kind of artist. And I was, so I drew this sort of dress. It's very risque. There would be very much showing. I would never have the courage to wear this. I don't know many people who would. Just know that it was a dress for some kind of party. And I think I had very high expectations for the amount of skin revealed for this like fantasy dress. D&D slash Mass Effect. This is an alien called a Quarian. Quarian? Anyway, we had a D&D homebrew game at one point, and this is a character that I play. So tech, emphasis in healing, knowledgeable on planetary plant life. I kind of wanted her to be like this cool, like, sort of inspired by Tally in the Mass Effect games. But I designed this sort of like scarf for her. She enjoys making robot pets. Her name was Aldraya Koranar Sarkesh. So as you can see, I had way too much fun drawing D&D characters. And here's another one. This is also sort of a concept picture of one of my D&D characters, the illusion wizard, Ophelia. And I always imagined her with this like beautiful like green sort of Celtic sort of skirt with a girdle or corset sort of garment here, and like a red cape, sort of like Red Riding Hood, except not, and like long beautiful golden hair. This is a dragon. Not much else to say about this. I'm sure it came from a reference partially. I think I may have added to it or altered it some, but it is, well, actually, no, it's not a dragon because it only has 2 legs. For those of you who don't know, there are worms, wyverns, dragons. There's all these different creatures that sort of people call dragons, but technically they're not. I was trying to practice drawing sort of orc, elf figures. I think this is actually inspired by that one character in The Hobbit. Watching this, just read The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, although I didn't like The Hobbit as much as The Lord of the Rings. I think some people kind of flip-flop either way. Like some people really love The Lord of the Rings and some people really love The Hobbit, or vice versa. But I really enjoyed The Lord of the Rings more. Also, Tom Bombadil is integral and important. Fight me. This is sort of also for a story. These are demons or daemons. These are the demons depicted sort of there. They're sort of ethereal, dark beings that eat the flesh of humans because they need to in order to be scary. And they have these sort of gangly arms and things. And yeah, this is another character for D&D. This is a map, which I won't go into detail on, but it is about Beneath Willows. And there you have it. That's all of the artwork that is sort of from my sketchbooks over the years. Hi, thanks for watching this video of the Red Armchair. It was a documentation of all of my art. Well, not all of it, most of it. And by no means am I a professional artist. By no means do I pretend to be a professional artist. I never took an art class. So this video was really to detail like how I moved forward and how I went about exploring art. Hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to see more. Have a great night.